You described earlier that there was property damage to the home located at 1428 Adele Avenue Southwest. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. Was there any damage to your recollection to any of the other homes located on Adele Avenue?
No, all the damage was focused on the house, and I guess the vehicles were damaged as a result of the house being shot up.
The things that were told to be available today would be available today.
I specifically said first thing this morning. So I need it by the time we break for lunch because I'm planning to start looking at it at lunch.
We called it on Friday. We said this was not going to happen. Starting off the day on the wrong foot already. What's the title of this video? Judge Whitaker deals with more YSL drama. The state can't get it together. And it looks like we have someone new
what else are you
on the state
have
side today too.
The court told me to have the four corners case law.
Okay.
Good morning, y'all. Good morning, TM. Semper, good morning. Justin, good morning. Is the sound good, y'all?
Okay. All right. Any time today is fine for the rest of them, but I had specifically said first thing for the in camera. So
what are you going to do about it, Judge Whitaker?
By the time we break, noon, basically. Mr. Steele, I got your, I guess, motions in limine on some of the evidence that y'all reviewed on Friday, and I don't know whether y'all try to narrow it down or not, and that's what we need to litigate still. Is that what that is?
That's what we, and when I say we, it's
the defense.
Yes,
yeah.
Your Honor. We believe that needs to be excluded.
Okay.
That's correct. If the state, upon looking at that, says they agree with it, then obviously we don't have to take the court's time. But that we tried to, go through.
Okay, but it hasn't been
vetted.
presented to the state for potential agreement. Okay, so I'll let y'all do that, and then next time we have a non-jury day, whatever is left, we'll take up.
The like button is free.
Good morning. All right, I had another matter that we were supposed to be starting at 8:45. I'm not sure why we didn't get started until 9. But I'm not going to take the jury's time right now. So just when we break for lunch, I want y'all to come up and I'll apprise everybody of something that I don't think between here and lunch it's going to matter if y'all don't know. Give me just a second.
We got drama. Boy, today's going to be a drama-filled day. What's Judge Whitaker talking about? Y'all think she's talking about Lil D and everything he had going on this weekend, getting arrested? Oh, man. Did that man dirty. We'll probably talk about that later, though. And thank you again to everybody that's stopping by. I see some of y'all are just joining too. Just got here. It's in the building. That's the perfect name. Martha's in here. Good morning. We've got Hachi. Is that how you say it? I'm probably saying it wrong. I apologize. Unita Sims is in here. Good morning, Unita. We've got Cordray is in the building. Mr. Hunter's up in here. Mary Baker's in the building too. Good morning.
Whoever your next witness is going to be ready to go. And is there anything else anybody needs to put on the record before we get the next witness and the jury?
And Judge Whitaker signed the warrant.
No.
Dang.
All right. Let's have the jury and then.
Wave, Lori's up in here too. What's up, man? Deanna's in the building. Good morning. I am Nikki Nicole is in here. Good to see y'all. Full drink and half thinking said this whole trial has been about D. It's just hella funny.
And so y'all, when we adjourn for the day, the people who are allegedly going to fix for real the sound are coming to work on it. So let's everybody, fingers crossed.
How long we been hearing that?
We won't have any more sound issues after the end of the day today.
Yep, we got Lil Woody, we got Lil D, we got Big Nut, we got Lil Nut, we got the other Lil D from Cleveland. Nasty work. How are y'all feeling this morning? What's up, Holden? Good to see you, man. You know we're ready for it. Patty's up in here too. Good morning. Good morning. We're just getting started. So we got a police officer is up here first. APD is in the building. So it looks like we have a new assistant district attorney or district attorney's going to be questioning the police officer today too. So we'll get into it in a minute. And if y'all could, man, like the video. Thank you to all 1,100 of you that are in here. If y'all could take 2 seconds and hit that like button, I would appreciate it. And I'll also be reading super chats throughout the show too. Cherry Hilton has landed, is in the building. Good morning. Blessed Anita is in here. Hope you're doing well, Blessed Anita. Good to see you. Katie's back in here too. Good morning, Katie. I got to figure out who our new guy is here. He's been in here. He's been in court before, but it's way back. I can't remember his name. Antonio Santiago.
Ladies and gentlemen, good to see y'all all back
Buenos
again.
dias.
I hope y'all had a pleasant
Antonia
weekend.
Santiago.
Miss Love, y'all can call your next witness, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. The state now calls Officer Adrian Pitts to the stand.
I can hear you, but I don't know if it's through the mic or
Okay.
not. You can try the other one.
Yeah, we can hear him, Judge. There's the officer. As y'all can see by his demeanor and his face, officers love being in court. It's their favorite thing to do.
State and spell your name, first and last name for the court.
Officer Adrian Pitts, Adrian Pitts, Pitts.
Good morning. Can you hear me quite all right?
Yeah.
All right. I am going to position this like so I can have the use of my hands. Officer, Mr. Pitts, are you employed?
Yes.
Where are you employed?
The Atlanta Police Department.
And how long have you been employed with the Atlanta Police Department?
Approaching 14 years.
And what is your title?
Police officer.
Okay. Have you received any special distinctions as a police officer during your 14 years?
Tactical field operator.
What do you do in that capacity?
Nice.
It's just SWAT, barricade gunmen, active shooter situations, stuff like that.
He's
Is that
saying some
also
things.
known as TFO for short?
Yes.
And what are your duties and responsibilities as a tactical field officer with the Atlanta Police Department?
Active shooters, barricade gunmen, assistant SWAT. Barricade gunmen.
And if you would come just a little bit closer to the mic.
The problem is the mic won't move, so we're going to try to move that at lunch.
Okay. This is
Stop making promises you can't keep, Judge Whitaker. We know you ain't fixing no sound. You ain't fixing no mic.
I'm going to give you this mic.
We got one goal and one goal only. It's to keep these guys locked up for no reason. Good morning, Jackie.
All right. Can you project and see if it works?
test.
There we go. All right. Are you post-certified, Officer Pitts?
Yes.
And have you been post-certified during the entire duration of your employment with the Atlanta Police Department?
Yes.
And were you post-certified on April 28th, 2015?
Yes.
All right. I want to turn your attention to the date of Tuesday, April 28th, 2015. Do you recall working that day?
Yes.
Okay. What, if anything, do you recall about working that day?
About 4:06 hours that morning, I was dispatched to a person shot.
All right. So now when you say
Talk about the
4:06
witness we
hours,
heard about
what
this
do you
last
mean?
weekend.
4:06 in the morning.
Okay. All right. And you stated that you were dispatched to a person shot call. Did I understand that correctly?
That's correct.
Okay. Were you alone or were you accompanied by a partner?
I believe initially I arrived alone, but other units did arrive shortly after I got there.
And when you were dispatched to this call, how did the call come through?
Person shot at 1428 Dale Avenue.
Okay, that was a poor question on my part. Let me ask a different way. Was it over the radio? Was it a phone call? How did you get dispatched?
I was dispatched over the radio.
And when you were dispatched to that person shot call over the radio, was a location given?
Yes.
What was that address?
1428 Adele Avenue, Northwest.
All right. And were you wearing
Excellent
a body cam
memory.
that day?
No,
Okay, why not?
body cams had not been issued at that point.
All right. You just mentioned the address of 1428 Adele Avenue Southwest. In what county is that address located?
Fulton County.
Are you familiar with that community that that address is situated in?
Yes.
And what can you tell the jury, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, about that particular community, if you will?
It's a lot of single family homes. Older black families own their properties for years and decades.
Okay. Are you acquainted with that particular area?
Yes.
All right. How are you acquainted with that particular area?
Patrol over there. I was assigned to the beat that the shooting took place on. I'm very familiar.
Okay. What zone is that in for Atlanta Police Department purposes?
No one.
Okay. And what beat is that located in?
Beat 104.
Now, can you distinguish for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what a zone is and then a beat?
So the city is broken up into 6 zones. Every zone has 2 sectors. Each sector has 7 beats, and that's just the area of responsibility that each individual who's assigned to the beat handles.
You can continue. I wasn't interrupting.
That's it.
Okay. All right. With respect to a beat, the particular beat that you were responding to on the day of April 28th, 2015, how long had you worked that beat?
At that point, maybe about 2 or 3 years, but I've been inside that area for a very long time.
Got you.
The address of 1428 Adele Avenue Southwest, what, if anything, is situated there?
Residents,
Okay. Is it an apartment complex or a single family home?
single family homes.
All right. And can you describe for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what, if anything, you saw upon your arrival to that location on April 28, 2015?
Upon my arrival, I saw shell casings in the street, driveway, property damage. The front of the house had been shot up. Vehicles in the driveway had been shot. I think one vehicle on the street also was damaged by gunfire.
All right. All right. So you can continue with your answer. If you need to re-ask the question, I can.
Please.
Okay. All right. You described just a few moments ago that you saw several things. I believe the last question I posed to you was, where were these shell casings that you spoke of earlier?
The shell casings were in the street directly in front of the home
Okay.
and inside the driveway of the residence.
What kind of shell casings were they? Talk to us, Mr. Pitts, Officer Pitts.
All right. When you arrived to the location,
Amy said no Ricos.
was it nighttime or daytime?
It was early morning. Sun was not up. It was night.
What was the weather conditions on that day?
Clear.
Okay. Was there anyone outside preliminarily when you arrived to that location?
Outside in the street, no, not that I remember.
What was the atmosphere like? Was there? Can you describe the atmosphere, if you will, for the jury?
When I arrived, it was very still. You could tell that something had happened. Approached the house, if I remember correctly, the front door was open, but it's like a steel security gate was closed, and there's a gentleman standing in the steel security gate.
Okay. Before I move to what you just said, I want to go back to something you said earlier. You also indicated that there were damage to vehicles that you saw preliminarily when you arrived. Do you recall saying that?
Yes.
How many vehicles do you recall at this time being affected by the defects?
3.
Okay. Do you recall the make and models of said vehicles?
Yes.
Okay. Can you describe for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what those vehicles were, make and model?
It was a red Infiniti. I believe that was in the driveway. It was a blue Dodge Charger. I believe that was also in the driveway, and a blue Chrysler Pacifica parked on the street.
So what did you eat for breakfast today?
Was the Chrysler in the street?
I believe it was on the street.
Okay.
You sure it wasn't on the roof?
Sure about that.
I'm not 100% sure. 10 years ago.
Is
Come
there
on, man.
anything that would help you refresh your recollection at this point?
I can go to my report if we have a moment.
Yes, if you would just give me a brief moment. Your Honor, I am going to approach the defense with your permission, of course.
You may.
All right. With a copy of
Thank you, Sean. I appreciate that, man. Put in a lot of work over here. What's up, Comet? Good to see you, man. Good morning. Farmer, good morning. Fatima, good morning.
Yes, Your Honor. Take a look at this clean copy. I'm going to take this from.
Appreciate
Take a view of that. And then when you refresh your memory, you can look back up at me and we'll continue.
So clearly the car was not parked in the driveway. It was parked on the roof. Just like I said. What is the name of the gentleman asking the questions? I'm gonna find out his name. I can't remember. We've seen him before. I'm just not sure who it is. Good morning to MJ. Good to see you in here. Thank you for being here. Floyd, the real deal Neil is in the building. Oh my God. I'll be reading super chats shortly, but shout out to Full Drinking and Have Thinking. Sheesh.
Okay.
Has your memory been refreshed?
Yes.
All right. Can you now respond to the question that was posed?
Give it to me one more time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Where was the Dodge? Where was the blue Chrysler Pacifica?
I believe the Chrysler Pacifica was in the driveway.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now, can you describe for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury the tag numbers associated with said vehicles?
If I could go to the report.
Sure thing, yes, sir.
Welcome, Cheryl.
Okay. So the
I
Chrysler
think it's going
Pacifica
crazy.
was a Georgia plate, Paul Charlie Sam 5023. The Dodge Charger was a Georgia plate, Paul Victor Yankee 5663.
Okay.
Lavisa said these questions don't seem relevant. They're just painting the picture, setting it up.
Red Infinity. It's one of the Paul Whiskey King 8190. It's PWK 8190.
Okay. All right. Now, I would like to ask you with respect to each of those vehicles. Do you recall by any chance, for the ladies and the gentlemen of the jury, where the defects, the bullet defects to those vehicles were located around or about?
Yes. The Red Infinity had defects and damage to the front hood and the front windshield. The Blue Dodge Charger had defects to the front hood, front windshield, and the blue Chrysler Pacifica had defects to the driver side rear panel area.
Let's fix this.
All right. On that early morning of Tuesday, April 28, 2015, were you at all able to speak with the owners of said vehicles?
No, I don't remember.
Okay. Were you able to speak with them ever after you finished with this particular location responding to it?
No.
Okay. Did you attempt to, or did anyone from your department or precinct or zone try?
I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure I did not.
You described earlier that there was property damage to the home located at 1428 Adele Avenue Southwest. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. Was there any damage to your recollection to any of the other homes located on Adele Avenue?
No, all the damage was focused on the house, and I guess the vehicles were damaged as a result of the house being shot up.
And when you
I mean, it doesn't really matter, but how does he know? Is this man CSI? He went and looked at the other houses? I don't know. Officers in the chat, y'all let me know. That's kind of a weird question, but whatever.
1428 Adele Avenue Southwest address.
How does
Yes.
he know if the other houses were shot up?
Earlier, you provided a brief description about what it looked like, that being the house that you just described. You stated that there was a gate. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember the color of that gate?
White.
Okay. And when you say a gate, are you referencing a door that appears to be as such, or a physical gate that prevents one from coming into the premises of the property?
See a
It's
sign,
like
I can
a
see the
metal
dark.
security gate that goes in front of the front door. It's common on a lot of houses in the area.
Do you reference a gate in your report?
Yes.
Okay. And is that what you had in mind when you wrote that report?
Yes.
Okay.
Shout out to Aaron over on PayPal. Thank you.
PayPal, boy.
Appreciate that,
I am
Aaron.
now going to show you what has been pre-marked as State's Exhibit. State's Exhibit 8, Kappa Kappa, Your Honor. And I am showing the defense, that is, what has been pre-marked as State's 8, Kappa Kappa.
Yeah, he's like, that's so Raven. He can see it to the future too, so he knew what was gonna happen before it happened. So he knows who did it. Good morning, Shar. Officer Pitts is really Superman. Hey, shout out to our police officers though. Definitely gotta respect them for the for all they do for us. But yeah, he capping.
Stop the cap.
Uh-oh. YSL Jay-Z's back in here. Well, formerly YSL Jay-Z. She's now CEB gang. Morning, Hobby.
State's Exhibit 8, Kappa Kappa.
You may
All right.
freely approach the witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Officer Pitts, you are now holding State's Exhibit 8, Kappa Kappa. From appearance, what is it that I'm handed to you?
This is Adele Avenue. Looks like it's going to be to the west of the address.
Okay. And is that the general area that you responded to depicted in that particular exhibit on April the 28th, 2015?
Yes.
And does that exhibit fairly and accurately depict the area of 1428 Adele Avenue Southwest as you remember it on the day that you responded to the shots fired call on April 28, 2015?
Yes.
All right. At this time, Your Honor, the state now moves to admit State's Exhibit 8 Kappa Kappa into evidence and request permission to publish, subject to your ruling.
It's admitted and you may.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Shout out to
Prior
Mr. Brown. He's
publishing
killing it.
State's Exhibit 8 Kappa Kappa, the state is going to first start by publishing State's Exhibit 5 Kappa Kappa. And the screen's not working, so I'm going to direct your attention to the monitor above you.
It's working, it just takes a second.
Sure thing, Your Honor. Okay.
Well, I don't know if the witness, can you see it on the screen in front of you?
Yes.
All right.
Oh, okay. All right. That one's working. Okay. Officer Pitts, can you tell us, the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if you recall this particular location that is depicted in State's Exhibit 5 Kappa Kappa?
Yes, it's going to be the 1428 Dale Ave. It's going to be the house. If you're looking at the picture to the right with the white metal gate.
Okay. And when you say to the right, just so that we are on the same sheet of music, are you referencing the home that has vehicles within the driveway?
Yes.
All right. And when you responded to that location, did it look like how it does on this particular exhibit?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. And I am just going to use this clicker so that it can ease transition. All right. Now turning your attention to State's Exhibit 6 Kappa Kappa, which is already been
Shout out to
admitted into
Alexis.
evidence. What
That's
are we
funny.
looking at here for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Officer Pitts?
That's going to be 1428 Adele Ave. It's going to be the house with the white vehicle in the driveway.
And I would ask.
This is where the lady got shot in the booty.
State's Exhibit 7 Kappa Kappa. Is this what are we looking at here?
1428 Adele Ave, house with the white vehicle in the driveway.
And is it fair to say this is just a wider view of the same area that you responded to?
Yes.
And using this exhibit that contains this wider view, can you point to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, or describe, better yet, the general area where you saw the shell casings when you responded at 4:06 a.m. on April 28, 2015?
In the driveway right there, about where the car is going to the street.
Okay. I have a pointer. It's working.
Dexter Bond.
Right.
Okay, no wonder I couldn't find him. Thank you. The attorney is Dexter Bond. Let me see if I can find
When
him.
you say driveway, right?
So
Shout out to the chat.
Yeah, right about there where your pointer is.
And
That
when
is
you say
not.
in the
Is
street,
it Dexter Bond?
As it relates to the shell casings, are you talking about where the pointer is moving across?
Yeah, about there.
Okay. All right.
Go on.
I'm now turning your attention to State's Exhibit 8 Kappa Kappa.
I don't think
which
that's
has
him.
been admitted into evidence.
Is that him?
It's just slow.
I don't think that's him either.
Just a brief indulgence. Okay, I apologize. All right, Officer Pitts, as it relates to State's Exhibit 8 Kappa Kappa, which is now being published on the screen before you, can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury which direction this angle of this particular photo is facing or directed towards?
This is Adele Avenue to the west of 1428.
And when you say, of course, there we go. Okay. That direction headed that way where the cursor is moving is considered west in this view?
That's correct.
All right. And did you happen to see any shell casings in this particular viewpoint when you arrived?
I don't believe so. No.
Did you see anything of value during your particular investigation in that particular area of Adele Avenue?
Let me
Not that I
figure out
remember,
who
no.
this is.
Earlier, you spoke about you saw shell casings, and I want to continue to probe on that.
Yeah, I see him, Amy. It just doesn't look like him.
The amount of shell casings that you saw at the scene of the incident.
About 32.
Okay. Do you recall or remember the caliber of shell casings that were in your viewpoint?
Yeah, 223 caliber and 762.
You said the last one you stated?
762.
762. Okay. Do you have training or experience firing a rifle?
Yes.
And
Must
in
have.
your training or experience as an officer, what type of rounds fit into a rifle?
223, 762.
And in your training and experience as a law enforcement officer, does a rifle require one or two hands to hold?
2.
Okay. In your training and experience as one who has fired a rifle, is this one that is a single shot firearm or one that shoots in rapid succession?
It shoots multiple rounds.
All right. Just a brief indulgence, Your Honor.
And welcome CEBJZ back to the member side.
All right. Senior active, 80 active, you can pull down 8KK. for a brief moment.
Who's this fine young attorney that is
When you arrived, Officer Pitts, to 14
That is questioning right now.
Avenue, which is reference to the shooting, did
Jeez,
you ever at
Rice
all
Street.
count the amount of bullet defects that you saw on the cars or on the home?
I don't remember, but I do remember seeing the bullet defects of the residents in the vehicles.
Did you recall there being a lot or a few?
It was a lot.
Okay. Were all of the defects that you saw when you responded, did they appear to be fresh?
Yes.
All right. And in your training and experience as a law enforcement officer, how do you distinguish what is fresh versus which is old in terms of bullet defects?
You're going to have, when you have fresh damage from bullet holes, you'll have smaller microparticles from the material
still scattered about on the surface of whatever you're looking at.
And these microparticles that you're describing, are they microparticles from the object or material that has been defected by
Yes.
the bullet, or it's microparticles from the bullet itself?
It's going to be from wherever the object was that was struck.
And is it fair to say that these microparticles that you're describing, that they're small, are they?
Yes.
But based on your training and experience, it's fair to say that you know what to look for.
Yes.
Is it also fair to say that you've seen multiple such types of... I can rephrase, John.
All right.
Have you seen multiple defects to property before?
Yes.
All right. And is that what informs
Thank you, Rice
your
Street.
ability to... Is it fair to say that is what informs your ability to look for such microparticles in other crime scenes?
Yes.
There we
Are
go. I
these
fixed the banner.
microparticles that you're describing anything of such value that someone that would come behind you could collect?
I understand that.
Let me rephrase. Is that something that you would normally collect, microparticles?
No.
Okay. Does it have any value outside of you being able to detect whether the bullet defects are old or new?
No.
Okay. All right. I want to turn your attention to the moment where you said you arrived to the location. Did you ever get out of your vehicle?
Yes.
And how were you dressed on that day?
In uniform.
And were you in a marked or unmarked police car?
Marked police car.
And did you ever walk up to
Crazy.
the home of 1428 Adele Avenue Southwest?
Yes.
And what, if anything, did you do or say during that time?
I met a gentleman, black male, medium brown skin tone. He was at the door wearing a Famerica brown sweatshirt. I asked him if he had been injured. He said that he had not been.
I'm going to object to the hearsay.
Sustained.
Your Honor, if I may respond.
You want to respond to an objection?
This is the effect on the listener. And you get informed what will come next.
Just move on to your next question.
So where do we do that at, Mr. Bond? Then that is Dexter Bond. Let's verify. Thank you.
This individual that you described, you just provided a description. Was he tall or short?
I can't remember.
Okay. Do you recall if he was taller than you?
I don't think he was now.
And you described the shirt he was wearing that you said had Famerica on it somewhere. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And when you saw that shirt, did he have any value to you when you saw that name?
Famerica at the time was a prominent gang in the area.
I'm going to object as to improper foundation and
Yeah.
move to strike.
I agree.
The foundation?
Sure.
Come on, man.
I can ask a few preliminary questions, John. Sure thing. What training or experience do you have with gangs in that area?
Plenty of
There you go.
experience. Sometimes that we get information from investigators to keep an eye out for this type of clothing or this type of coloring or these type of tattoos that would indicate gang affiliation.
Okay, and was that your first time seeing?
Excuse me. I'm going to object to that testimony again and ask it to be struck. It violates our ability, the confrontation clause, our ability to question where this information is coming from. It is hearsay. I would ask that answer be struck.
Your Honor,
Overruled.
Okay. You can continue with your answer if you had any.
That was it.
Okay. All right. And with that particular background in mind, was this incident to which you responded the first such time that you had ever seen such indicators of clothing as you described?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. All right. And in your experience, based on what you had learned prior to that moment in your training, did that language on that sweatshirt have any value to you as a law enforcement officer with such training and background?
Your Honor,
Yes.
I would renew my objection. Indicate there's not proper foundation that's been laid.
Overruled?
I'm sustained at this
Oh.
point.
Okay.
I could see where he's going. I get what he's trying to say. Thank you, BBSC.
Have you ever had formal gang training?
No.
Okay. But have you ever had interactions with gangs?
Yes.
She is
And,
inconsistent,
have
Sean.
you
You're
come
right.
to learn prior to April 28, 2015, let me rephrase this question. What identifiers, to your knowledge at that time, in April 28, 2015, did the gang, as you described, Fan America have?
Sometimes they wore clothing that had their.
I'm going to object. That's totally competition.
Seth Brown. T.
Sustained.
I'm going to move on to another question. At that time that you saw this individual with the
Can't find him
shirt
at all.
and indicated that you described language, Fan America.
Yes.
What, if anything, did you do after that?
I went to the home and looked for an injured party.
Okay. When you say you went to the home, are you saying you went in the home?
I went inside the home and looked for an
And
injured party.
when you went inside of the home, what, if anything, did you see or do?
Spoke with the person who was struck by gunfire. If I may refresh my memory.
All right, that is Seth Brown. So shout out to Dejon Hall. Thank you. I said that didn't look like Dexter. That is Seth Brown. Give it up to attorney Seth Brown. He's over here cooking, man.
The victim, Denise Renee Bell.
She got shot in the booty.
I want to ask you a little bit before we transition to what you did in the home. I do remember what you said last.
Yes.
Orienting you back to what you said when you met the individual, the male, at the
Yes.
front door. Can you describe around or about his age?
He looked to be in his mid to upper 20s.
Okay. What was his demeanor?
He was calm.
Okay. And when you entered the home, did you actually, in fact, see an injured party?
Yes.
And where about in the home do you recall her being?
She was in a rear room of the residence.
Did you ever get a name for her?
Yes. Her name was Denise Renee Bell.
Mm-hmm. Did she seem drunk or high when you entered the residence?
Were you ever given a name for the male that met you at the front gated door that you described earlier?
No.
Did you ever ask?
No.
All right. Did he remain the entire time that you were completing the course of your investigation?
No.
Okay. Where do you recall where he may have gone?
No. He's gone.
Okay. Do you recall at what point he left the property?
While I was speaking with the victim, he left. When I asked where he went, nobody knew.
I'm going to object to the hearsay.
The answer is nobody knew anyway. Sustained.
Your Honor, may I this one?
Move on.
They are. Yep, they're going for a Lil Woody 2.0.
Do you
McKinley.
recall what relationship, if any, this unknown black male in this Fan America shirt had with the victim in the home?
Your Honor, to the extent it calls for hearsay, I would object.
I'm sorry, but I couldn't hear what you said.
To the extent that that response calls for a hearsay, I would object.
I'm sorry, re-ask your question. I was focused on what you said and I've lost what the question
Y'all
was.
see Judge Whitaker got her hair did? I told y'all she wanted to leave Friday so she could get her hair done.
What relationship, if any, the unknown black male in the Fan America shirt had with the victim?
Okay, sustained to the hearsay objection.
Do you know if he resided at that location?
No.
You see that, John? John says she's so bored she's not even paying attention to the questions. Yeah, Mr. Brown's doing an excellent job, though.
How familiar are you with Club Crucial?
Fairly familiar.
All right. And how are you familiar with Club Crucial?
Club Crucial is a nightclub that is in the zone. It's on Bankhead, down at Lee Hollywood Parkway.
When
Don't
you
go
say
there.
Zone, what zone are you referencing?
Zone 1.
Don't do it.
And being that it was in the zone, is it fair to say that you would pass by there?
Yes.
Okay. And how often would you be in that area,
Crucial.
specifically where Club Crucial is located?
Typically, we would patrol and post up outside the club, opposite side of the street, when it's in operation.
Okay. Why would you post up across the street from Club Crucial?
Sometimes it does attract a rowdy crowd.
And how often would you post up?
Every night was open.
Okay. And how often, to your knowledge, would it be open?
Mondays, Fridays, Saturdays, and maybe Sundays.
And to your knowledge, was Tuesday, April 28, 2015, the early morning hours from when that club would have been letting out?
Yes.
And were you doing directed patrol over there prior to responding to 1428 Adele Avenue Southwest?
I can't remember, but I'm sure that I was.
Okay. And would you do it alone?
No.
And around or about how many law enforcement officers would be a part of that directed patrol team, if you will?
Maybe about 2 or 3 units.
When you say units, are you talking about vehicles or persons?
Vehicles and persons. So 2 or 3 officers.
And do you know the hours, if you recall roughly about the hours of operation, not the days, but the hours of operation for Club Crucial?
I recall that it closes at about 3.
Rice Street said they got books in there.
About how long after Club Crucial, excuse me, let me rephrase it, I got tongue tied. Based on your dispatch call, about how long after Club Crucial formally closed did this gunshots fired call come in?
A little more than an hour.
Boy, that was a rough question. Jeez. It's all right, Mr. Brown. You're doing good. Keep going, man.
How far, to your knowledge, is Club Crucial from 1428 Adele Avenue Southwest?
1428 Adele Avenue is probably a few miles south of Crucial. Maybe about 3 or 4.
And if you guys go back, you can either watch the live stream or you can watch the video that I dropped yesterday. I showed on the map where all the 911s came from, where the house was located in relation to Club Crucial. So if you go and watch that video, you'll be able to see where everything is. And I'll put it in the description too.